Hi, welcome to another edition of Behind the Lines. I'm Lynn Saternow, and this is my co-host, Bob Greenburg. I'm sure you know us if you've watched us before. Bob, big weekend ahead.
Mercer County Hall of Fame on Saturday, the biggest night of the year in Mercer County, and I know we are looking forward to inducting another great class.
Yeah, 11 former greats going into the oldest local Hall of Fame in the world. You know, maybe we ought to run down a few of them just to chat a little bit.
Absolutely.
Gary Douglas, Kennedy Catholic.
You know, it shows my age because I started broadcasting back in the 80s, and Gary Douglas was on one of the first teams I got to cover. And what an outstanding basketball player he was, a leader. One of those perfect point guards that I think any coach would love to have on the team. Could score, shoot threes, was a tough-nosed kid. No question, a well-deserved honor for Gary Douglas.
Yeah, that one of the great teams for Joe Votino in those days at Kennedy Catholic, and that he was a senior in the big, highly controversial technical game that where Joe Votino was called for getting off the bench with a few seconds left in the game, and it cost him the game.
Yeah, one of the most infamous finals, the finishes in the history of the Pittsburgh basketball championships. But that didn't, that was one moment in Gary Douglas's career. Obviously, he had a lot of other great moments on the all-time scoring list at Kennedy, at a program that has tons of great kids. So looking forward to seeing Gary getting this big honor on Saturday night.
Yeah, it should be great. You know, Sharon's Joe Evans. Now, this is before your time, but not before mine.
Yes.
No, but I remember the thing is, great basketball player, Sharon, went to the University of Buffalo, great freshman year, had some medical issues, couldn't play the rest of the time. But at Sharon, his name is still synonymous with greatness because he helped beat Farrell in 1969. That Farrell team, in the last game of the season, he hit a jump shot at the buzzer to beat him by 1 point. It was the only loss Farrell had that year. They went 27-1 and won the state championship. That was a great year.
Now, wasn't that the game that Farrell said that it was after the buzzer?
Yes.
So controversial, but still memorable game. That was 50 years ago. Unbelievable game that night.
Yeah, and that was his junior year. Senior year, he had another great year. They tied Beaver Falls for the championship. They had a playoff game, and they lost to Beaver Falls. And sure enough, who goes on to win state championship? Beaver Falls. That's just the way it was. Section 3 was tough back then.
And that was back in a day where you had to earn your way in. Only champions made it to the playoffs, and no question, a totally different era than we're living in today.
Yeah, one team advanced it. Another Sharon athlete, Ellen Bannock Keller.
Boy, Ellen, what a fantastic athlete she was in her day. Being able to see her play sports, and I'm sure people out there remember her incredible abilities in multiple sports. I saw her play some basketball, but also an outstanding coach. I got to run into her many times on the sidelines during the years, and no question, a great honor for Ellen.
Yeah, she set some basketball records at Shippensburg too. She was a great player, great athlete. Jimmy Leach from Sharpsville, another great basketball player.
Jimmy's another one, yeah, multiple sport athlete, football, basketball, and Jimmy was during my high school career, and I remember Jimmy was a fantastic, really an all-around big-time player at a time where Sharpsville had a lot of big-time players. So Congratulations to Jimmy.
He played football at Grove City College. Excellent player. Another basketball player from the great years of Mercer High School, Marty Maddox.
Marty Maddox. And I was reading his bio this morning, and talk about an incredible resume. He was part of the Mercer team that lost to Midland. Actually went on to IUP, had a great career there, and really a dynamic athlete from a family of athletes there, Marty Maddox.
Yeah, Mercer had so many great teams back in the 60s and 70s. Tremendous athletes. Farrell's Jerry Missick. This is before our time a little bit. 63, I believe he graduated from, but great football player.
And we congratulate him, Jerry, as well. And obviously on Saturday when we broadcast live from the Hall of Fame induction ceremony prior from 3 to 6, we'll have all the inductees on. We're going to get all kind of great stories, Mark Slazak and I. That'll be on Sports Radio 96.7, so we look forward to that.
Yeah, Jerry played University of Cincinnati, fullback, tremendous player. They had some good teams back then. Jerry Pacifico from Reynolds, another football star.
Another big-time football star back in the late 80s. And remember, he was just a tackling machine at Reynolds as a linebacker, went on to a great career at YSU, and one of the best that's ever come out of that program for sure.
Set a few records at that time at YSU, I believe. Hey, one of your buddies, Pat Faris.
Pat Faris, my goodness, what an incredible resume Pat has. Longtime successful baseball coach at Grove City. Also, as an individual athlete, as a golfer and a baseball player in his own day. Very, very talented guy. One of the best guys. Just a well-liked guy. Nobody says a bad word about Pat. And obviously another guy that's well-deserved to get into the Hall of Fame.
No doubt. And speaking of coaching, Greg Slackoff, great Lakeview running coach.
For decades. I mean, that's the, Lakeview track, cross-country running, synonymous with Coach Slackoff. So probably a little overdue for him to get in, but he's going to get in, and it's a great testament to his program and all the successful athletes he has coached over the years.
And he was still helping out coaching the last few years. I
Amazing.
believe. Yeah, something special. Steve Riley from Greenville, 2-time state champ in wrestling. Great athlete.
He was a legend. I mean, I was a few years past Steve Riley when I wrestled at Hickory, but the legend of Steve Riley was still very strong in those days, and came from a program that had so many unbelievable wrestlers. The first 2-time state champion out of Greenville, and well-deserved honor for Steve Riley.
And we haven't had too many 2-time state champs, period.
That's true.
And then, of course, our posthumous inductee, A.J. Janosko, great volleyball player.
George Mason University out of Farrell High School, made it to the Final Four. Unfortunately died in a tragic accident, and will be honored on Saturday night, but his memory lives on forever.
Yeah, it was a great story how his face was on a race car for one of the NASCAR races because he donated his organs, which was so great because other people were living on because of him.
Yeah, volleyball is a sport that doesn't get a ton of press in most cases in Mercer County, but this guy, he went to the top, and well-deserved honor.
Yeah, they had a tough loss in the state finals that year. Great game, and the other team roared from behind and beat them. It was tough. It was fun to watch. I mean, Farrell had great teams back then. And now, let's take a look a little bit at high school sports, Bob. Things are starting to really shape up. In boys Class 5A, where we got our bigger schools, looks like a serious battle going on there with Grove City and Hickory.
And Sharon. Yeah, three-way battle last week. The biggest, I'd say, upset of the year with Grove City coming down to Sharon and beating the Tigers in one of those fantastic finishes of the year. I think there were Sharon scored with 11 seconds to go on a Callaway layup, and then Cintron hits a three-pointer with 2 seconds to go to give Grove City the lead back. Then a full-court pass and missed layup attempt at the buzzer would have given the Sharon the win. As good as it gets, and it really does shake things up because you lose at home, it opens the door up. And now with Grove City winning at Sharon, you look at these standings right now, they all have 1 losses as of Tuesday. So we'll see how that thing plays out, but it's going to go down to the final week, I'm guessing, in Region 4. Region 5. Region 5, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a mix with those 3 teams because they can all beat each other, I think. That's just the way it shapes up. They have some great individual athletes on every team.
And you look at like Grove City came to Hickory and lost by 30-something, and then Sharon goes host Hickory and beats Hickory, and then Grove City comes to Sharon and beats Sharon. So yeah, who could figure that out? A huge win for Coach Qualick at Grove City in his first year, but you look at those 3 teams, and I think you made it any given night, any one of those teams can win.
And this will get them all ready for the playoffs. On a good note, Sharon's in AAA, while the other 2 are in 4A. So at the end of the season, they'll be split a little bit at least.
It's a good note, but it's also a bad note because we don't get a chance to see maybe Hickory-Sharon rematch. Last year was in the District 10 Championship at Sippy Rock, and it was one of the more memorable nights in recent memory. But no question, having Hickory, Grove City in one, and Sharon in the other will give more Mercer County teams opportunities to go a long way.
Yeah, in Region 2, which is shaping up to be quite a league, with West Middlesex and Farrell. Now, they're going to be battling it out, Friday night at Middlesex?
Friday night. Last night, Lakeview and Farrell battled it out at E.J. McCluskey Gymnasium, and now Middlesex will host Farrell on Friday night. Same scenario there. I think, Middlesex as the defending champs and Farrell with being healthy and everybody on deck, I think those might be the 2 best teams when it was all said and done. But those teams will all battle all the way down to the end. And District 10 playoffs will be very, very entertaining in 2A for sure.
No doubt about it. And Farrell drops down to 2A, when they've always been playing up above that. So it's great.
And they're the only team.
Competition.
Yeah, they're the only team in 2A that actually is playing up this year. They were a single-way team by classification. So, Farrell has had that pride over the years. They've always played up in class, and 2A was a good fit for them. They're playing a lot of local teams and, getting some good crowds, but much more competitive in that 2A than they might have been in 4A.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And how about, talk about moving up. Kennedy Catholic boys moved up all the way up there to 6A, and they're playing in Region 7, but they're still the favorite to win Region 7.
Oh, yeah. They've already beaten Meadville and Erie on the road. They'll play McDowell and Cathedral Prep a couple times. Getting ready to play up in the Burger King Classic this weekend, a pretty big honor. I think they're the first District 10 team since 1990, and that was Meadville that got invited to the very prestigious Burger King Classic. So good luck to Kennedy up there, up in Erie. It's a big deal.
Yeah, now girls basketball, the region favorites are starting to kind of pull away from the rest of them. You know, West Middlesex girls are really rolling there in Region 1, although Kennedy Catholic's coming on a little bit. I mean, West Middlesex beat them pretty bad before.
Yeah, Middlesex has a 1-game lead over Kennedy right now, but Middlesex also owns a pretty significant win at Kennedy. Same scenario there as we had in boys. Middlesex is in 2A, Kennedy's in 1A, so they're playing for the region title, but they won't be in the same class come District 10 playoff time. I think there's pretty clear right now, especially after Kennedy beat Farrell last night handily. Middlesex is the clear-cut favorite, and I think Kennedy right now is proven to be maybe the number 2 team in that region.
Yeah, and you came up with a pretty good interview the other day with one of our Kennedy stars.
Yeah, Malia Magestro, she's had a wonderful start to her junior year. Went over 1,000 points in the month of December. One of the few players in Kennedy school history to do that. Has already verbally committed to YSU and had a chance to talk to Malia last week, and here's what we chatted about. There she is, Malia Magestro. She is the Reinhardt's Athlete of the Month for the month of December. Congratulations, Malia.
Thank you.
It's been a really great start to your junior season. Really, the month of December, which was featured you getting your 1,000th point in your career. Just talk about that milestone and what it meant to you and your family.
I think it's really exciting, to do that, especially, with my team and all that. It was really fun to, share that moment with them and with my family. Drew did it, and I think that was really cool. So I really enjoyed doing it myself.
Now, was there added pressure? You saw Drew doing it, and was there added pressure? Not that your brother did it, but just knowing that number was there and you were getting close to it.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely a little bit of pressure, but I know I can do it. So.
Now you play a lot of basketball. You're coming from a very much of a basketball family. How many hours a week can you estimate that you have a basketball in your hand?
I'm trying to think. Probably like 18 to 20, I'd say.
Is that normal?
I guess, yeah. Yeah.
Now,
with practice and then coming to the gym on my own time. That's probably the right amount. So.
Now, being one of the leaders of the team this year, that's been one of the differences as you're getting older in your high school career. How does it feel to be one of the leaders?
Yeah, I think we have a young team this year, and it's definitely helping me with my leadership skills and all that. So, hopefully I'm, setting a good example for the rest of the team. So.
In your opinion, where does your game need to improve, and where do you feel like you're doing pretty well at?
I think I need to improve more in the 15-foot range, so just coming off hitting some jumpers there. But I think I'm, getting to the hoop well, and I think I'm shooting the ball pretty well too. So.
You talked about your young team. It's a young and it's kind of a transition for your team. You've had a few more losses this year than you've had in your first couple of years. Just talk about the emotions of trying to deal with just trying to get better each and every night.
Yeah, we come to practice every day and work so hard, and like I said, we're a young team and we played some really good teams already. So it's tough, but we're all in it together. So.
Now you verbally committed to YSU. Is that pretty much in stone right now, or is that school still talking to you?
I know no schools are talking to me. That's set. So.
You got to be excited about YSU. They're playing very well right now.
Oh yeah, they're playing really well. So I'm really excited.
Do you get to go over there very much to watch them play?
Yeah, I've been to a couple games, and then I'll probably go to some more. And I'm really close with the coaches and the team, so I'm really excited to go there.
What's the best part and the worst part of having your father as the head coach?
The best part is probably, just always having, someone that I can talk to, with basketball and all that. And then the worst part is probably just getting yelled at a lot.
Getting yelled at a lot,
yes.
Yeah. We've heard him do some yelling before. Mm-hmm. Malia, congratulations. Best of luck to you and your teammates, and congrats on being the Athlete of the Month for
Thank you.
All right.
Interesting young lady. Very intelligent.
Coming from
a great job.
Big-time sports family.
No doubt about it. Her dad's a coach.
Dad's a
Doesn't hurt.
coach. Brothers playing at Pitt Johnstown. Her other brother's playing on the boys team. Her sister is also a rising player coming up through the program. I don't know if there's a more basketball family that eats, sleeps, and drinks basketball than the Magestros.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a shame Drew's injured this year right now, so he's redshirting. down at Pitt Johnstown.
Correct.
But he'll be back next year. We're looking forward to that. You know, in Region 4, Greenville's pretty much on a tear. They're rolling over everybody. And what's going to be great, they play West Middlesex Monday night in the battle of two region leaders.
And that's actually that's a game we're going to have on the radio on Monday night with Greenville. And yeah, Greenville sitting at 3-0 right now. Lakeview a one game back, but I think Greenville right now, the way they're playing, getting a nice balanced attack, inside outside. Got a very good point guard in the Hawthorne girl.
Terrific.
Yeah, this is a good Greenville team, kind of making that next step from what they did last year. And that game Monday will be very interesting, just for pride more than anything else.
Yeah, and they have two of the best big players right here in Mercer County, McKenna White from West Middlesex and Nina Cano from Greenville. That's going to be a great matchup inside.
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say those would be two college players down the road as well. So they're very good. No question that's going to be a big matchup. You mentioned McKenna White, by the way. She needs 8 points Thursday night when Middlesex hosts Mercer to reach 1,000 points for her career. And she's only a junior, so if she stays healthy, she's going to have a good chance to shatter all the school records before she's done.
And I'm going to venture to say that she'll score more than 8 points against Mercer.
I think she has a good chance. And not many people that I've seen right now in Mercer County has a way to slow her down. She is very talented.
Mercer's young. I mean, I watched them the other night against Greenville, and they put up a great battle for a while. I mean, you know, Coach Aaron Cook does a good job with those kids. But he said, hey, we're going against a team that has wide receivers that are racehorses. And I mean, once Greenville gets that ball moving down the floor, that's why it's going to be interesting to see how Middlesex plays it.
I agree with you on that. That's going to be a bigger game on next Monday night when Greenville comes to West Middlesex on the girls' side.
Yeah, and both those teams lost close ones to Harbor Creek earlier. So it'll be interesting to see how they fare against each other. You know, up in Region 5, Slippery Rock, Grove City, and Hickory, they're in a real mix there, you know, for a battle.
Yeah, and Slippery Rock, you know, they held off and beat Grove City a couple weeks ago. Slippery Rock right now is a 2-game lead. Grove City got knocked off by Meadville, which was somewhat of a surprise.
That was a stunner.
A little bit of a stunner. You know, I think, you know, I don't know what the scenario was. They held the game at Allegheny College, which is a little unusual. It's just one of those nights. Meadville's got enough talent, and, you know, you have an off night. So Slippery Rock right now with a 2-game lead in that region. I think they are the team to beat for sure. And I think the other teams like Meadville, Hickory, Grove City are battling for, you know, seeding at this point.
Yeah, I think this is going to be so much fun watching these basketball teams battle it out all the way the rest of the year, and boys and girls. Wrestling, talk about battles tonight.
Big night.
Wednesday night tonight. Greenville Reynolds. Reynolds ranked number 1 in the state. Greenville, I believe, ranked number 7 right now. It'll be an interesting clash.
And it was great to see that Reynolds announced that the match is sold out. No tickets sold at the door. That's got to bring back some great memories for you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, used to be sellouts when those two met at Westminster College or Edinburgh University. That's how many. They had 4,000 people at some of those matches. Obviously, there's so many more things going on today. You don't have those crowds like you used to have. But this is important. It's a big match.
Surprise last week. I don't know if you have a reaction to Greenville having to forfeit a match. That was probably very unusual. What happened?
I'm surprised that we don't see it more often. There's so much paperwork involved in these matches now with these weigh-ins. You have to weigh a certain amount of a certain weight when you get on the scales. Say you're wrestling 152, you might have to weigh right now 154.3 or something to that effect. And if you weigh 152.6, you're not allowed to wrestle that weight the next match or whatever it is.
So there's all kinds of
there's all kinds of strange things that go on with it.
So it was a paperwork glitch by the Greenville coach.
I mean, it wasn't anything intentional, just one of those things that happened.
I'm surprised that they, kudos to Greenville for stepping up and self-reporting. I'm surprised they forfeited the entire match because it only affected one kid, but they stepped up and from their perspective did the right thing. And I don't know if that will have a effect on anything dealing with regions or anything like that, but obviously it does because they took that as a loss now and not a win.
Now what's going to happen is in the district duels, this is probably going to put Greenville on the same side as Reynolds.
So we'll have a big effect.
While Cash will be over on the other side since they got the win, unless Cash is bumped off by somebody else besides Reynolds. So
that's a big deal then. So, yeah. But yeah, looking forward. I'm sure the reaction and the crowd and the match tonight's going to be wonderful, and wish both of those teams good luck.
Yeah, and I think we still take 3 from the district from the duels. So even if one of those teams loses and goes down to the semifinals, as long as they win in the semifinals, they'll still be going on. So we'll see how that comes out.
How about I had posted the other day about Reynolds. They're 8-0 right now, 56-1 over the last 3 years. and their 59-year record is unprecedented in I don't know if it's PWA history, but definitely Mercer County history. We've seen no program that has been at this level this long and this good.
Yeah, and they've won both the individual and the dual meet state championships the last 2 years.
Swept them both.
Yeah, swept them both. And Casey Taylor's looking to try to get a 3-peat in each one because Reynolds has never done that, won 3 in a row in all of them. I mean, they've won 3 individual titles before in a row, but they've never won, both 3 years in a row.
And they're ranked number 1 in the state. So, number 1 versus number 7, Reynolds and Greenville tonight, so it should be fun.
And I'll tell you, they're getting better. I mean, the competition they wrestle, of course, they wrestle the best in the country. But the other day, they beat Seneca Valley pretty well, and I think Seneca Valley's ranked in AAA.
Their schedule is always, and it's like, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Kennedy this year with the boys basketball. Kennedy has played a unbelievable schedule, something we've never seen before, and Reynolds Wrestling does the same thing. And it's no surprise when it comes, crunch time, those two programs are doing very well when it comes to the playoffs because they're preparing themselves for those big games down the road.
Yeah, I don't ever remember a Reynolds kid being undefeated at the end of the season.
At least not in recent.
I mean, they win state championships,
Yes.
but they've lost along the way in one of these huge tournaments. It's just the way it works out.
That was always the old saying with Coach McCluskey at Farrell. Farrell never had an undefeated team because Coach McCluskey always wanted to make sure that there was one less a bit of pressure on his team in the playoffs. So he always had big games during the regular season. And it's one of those unbelievable stats. You think about it. Farrell won 7 state titles, never were undefeated.
That's right. But Joe Evans helped along that way.
That is true.
Making that basket.
That'll be a great story to hear from Joe on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, Bob, stepping outside high school sports, how about the big hire by the Steelers last week?
Terrell Austin, Sharon's own. What a great resume. The Steelers hired him last week as a defensive coach, and he was let go by the Bengals back earlier in 2018. And it's a great fit for the Steelers. I'm sure Terrell and his family is got to be thrilled. And now I think it's an opportunity for Terrell to rise again in the NFL, going with an organization as highly regarded as the Steelers.
Yeah, I enjoyed covering Terrell when he played quarterback for Sharon High Tigers. They won. They were 10-1 that year. The only loss was to Massillon. I'll never forget that game. Referees helped quite a bit. Yeah, this was. I never saw a call like this. Early in the game, Sharon punts the ball. Tom Crawford, I believe it was, running down for Sharon. The kid muffs the ball in the air. Crawford grabs it in the air. This is about the 20-yard line. Runs it in for a touchdown. Refs wave their hands, call it back to the 20, and give it to Massillon going the other way. Unbelievable.
Oh, my.
I don't know how they came up with that call.
And Terrell was on that team.
Terrell was on that team. And I see how Massillon wins so many games over there,
Terrell, of course, coached in 3 Super Bowls. He's won 1 with the Ravens. He coached with Seattle and Arizona. Back in 2014, he came back as a part of a Sharon football fundraiser golf outing, and I interviewed him. And at the time, I listened to the interview the other day, and he joked about the fact how his entire family, none of his kids liked the Steelers, because at the time he was coaching for the Ravens, or at the time it was the Lions, but I'm sure they're going to root for the Steelers now.
Oh, no doubt about it. And I talked to him about a year ago because I wanted to know if he wanted to go in the Hall of Fame yet, Mercer County Hall of Fame. And he said, not until I'm done coaching. And hopefully he'll be coaching for a lot of years.
Well, there's no question he has a great opportunity now for the Steelers, and I'm sure the Sharon football family and the people here in the Valley were thrilled to have a local guy coaching with the Steelers. So it's wonderful news.
I just wish he was with the Browns so he can get another Super Bowl ring next year. That's what I'm wishing.
No chance.
Hey, we'll see y'all next week. Get out there and watch some of these high school sports teams perform. I mean, it's really special to see. We have some of the greatest sports, the greatest athletes in Mercer County that we have in the entire state of Pennsylvania. And they're a lot of fun to watch. We enjoy covering them, right, Bob?
We're very lucky. And you think about the teams in all sports, and sometimes we don't talk about the other sports, but we have high-level success here in Mercer County, and we're very lucky to be able to cover these athletes over all these years.
And the only reason we do it, we get in free to these games, We'll see y'all next week. Thanks.